Daydreaming about dragons. We're back. Had a good weekend of gaming, and there are two things that happened. I've talked about this kind of thing before, but I'm going to talk about it again. I just want to talk about the way that in two different games, Stars Without Number and Blades in the Dark, that the dice rolls and randomly created content and already created content and setting content all came together to make cool stuff happen. Okay? So let's start with Blades. The investigators are looking into this gang war, and so their first lead is a gang that they've dealt with and who has actually helped them with their investigations in the past is embroiled in this gang war. So they go to that gang, and they have a lead that they might have been involved in a bombing that recently happened. So they go to that gang, and they're trying to get that person to talk, and they roll to get the person to talk, and it comes up that it's successful, but or even it might not have even been successful. I think it might have been just there was a huge complication, right? The dice were basically telling me there's a big complication. And I didn't want I didn't want the relationship with this person to change drastically. I liked that they got along. I liked that this gang leader, she had a kind of a crush on one of the investigators. I didn't want that to go away. So I was like, what is the complication? And I was like, well, we're in the middle of a gang war. Someone's about to assassinate her. So that is what I did. I realized, and I think rather than say, I'm going to make this happen, the way I like to think about it is I realized that this was going to happen. I was like, oh man, someone's about to assassinate her. We're in the middle of a gang war. She's in her bar, Stronghold. I described all of these security measures that were going in. And on the other side of the gang war were these burglars called the Wraiths. And they are very slick heist team. You can look them up in the Blades in the Dark. They're tier 2. They seem like a slick group, up and coming, and high profile robberies. And there are all of these because of the way that I'm doing this gang war. I'm calling it Rorik's War, and I've divvied up almost all of the criminal elements in the city, and they're one's on one side, one's on the other, and they are all at war, not willy-nilly. They're choosing sides behind the two biggest criminal elements in the city. So, and why that's happening and how that's happening is becoming, the players are discovering that I do have made up, that I haven't left to discovery. But I'm sure there are things I'll learn about it as we go, right? Because as much as I've made stuff up, there might be some detail that I hadn't considered. And then I get to learn things, which is fun. Even when you make things up, even when you've got a detailed plan, little things come up that I get to learn, which is great. That's my favorite, one of my many favorite parts of gaming. So I realized that this gang leader, because of the dice rolls, because of the way things shook out, was about to get assassinated. And it was a really exciting moment where they got to, this steampunk assassin phased into reality from the ghost field with this, with this slick black steampunk ninja armor on. And I'm not even a fan of steampunk, but steampunk ninja, that's a pretty cool image, or steampunk assassin, I guess. And they got to thwart that, and they got to be in that moment and have that kind of cool action scene. It was cool. It was a lot of fun. And I didn't know that they were going to thwart it. Maybe she dies. Maybe, maybe someone gets killed. I don't know. But it was fun to find out. It was fun to find out through the dice. All right. Fast forward. We are playing Stars Without Number. It is the game after we had this huge battle against, it was the players against a mech, an anti-personnel mech. The players are super excited. They want to get their hands on this damn mech, right? And it was a fun battle. It was just exciting and a mess, and the dice were not in their favor, but no one died. But the opposing army, small army, but not army, got away with the mech, and the players tracked them into a small valley. And my buddy Whit, who I've gamed with for decades, since college, said, "Anything weird here in this valley?" And I was like, "Man, that's a damned good question." So I went to the wilderness encounter tables in Stars Without Number, and I rolled, and a couple different things happened. Okay, so I got that there was a river that was flooding. Okay, that didn't become a huge element, but it was a nice bit of color. There was a hiker in the area that came in later, but here's the thing that was interesting: there were animals that seemed benign that were getting in position to do something that were dangerous. And I was like, man, why is that happening, right? Because there were these like genetically engineered bison on the planet, but they were really benign. And it wasn't even a planet. It was like a moon that had been, given artificial atmosphere through engineering. Okay. So why is this happening? Okay, well, I've got this rolled up sector that I rolled up, and one of the planets on that sector is what's called a zombie planet. It's highly contagious. It's called Halial, and it is a no-go planet. You cannot go there. And I wrote up a guide for the players, and I didn't give them any details. I was like, do not go to this planet. It was all in caps. If you go to this planet, your ship will be shot down. Your ship will be destroyed. If it is found out that your ship was contaminated on this planet, your ship will be destroyed. So I was like, man, I guess someone went to that planet and tried to get whatever weird zombie contagion that was there. So I described the bison morphing together into a big amoeba-like, kind of like the Thing, but a little different. Kind of a huge amoeba-like organism subsuming other organic organisms, mammals, spitting out their non-organic bits, and then going back together, like basically pretending to be going back into bison shapes and human shapes. And the humans were kind of walking around making noises at each other, imitating humans. And the bison were kind of walking around oddly and trying to act like bison. And it was all because of randomly generated content banging into each other, right? I looked at it and I got to be surprised. And there was also a cool question. I was psyched that my friend Whit was like, "Is there anything cool about this valley? I mean, it's just a valley." No, it's a valley with xeno-infected, genetically engineered bison. I didn't know that until I rolled the dice. I love that bit. And then I got to see what they do with that information. And it turned out to really rock the campaign. Had a huge impact. Huge impact. So, big deal. A very big deal. And they dealt with it well. And it really turned the page on that cool archive planet. So I'm excited. And that was my gaming. The dice, the mechanics, made some cool things happen. And let's not get it twisted, right? I mean, I know that I used techniques and I made good decisions, and the players did cool stuff. There was a lot of cool stuff happening that all made that happen. But I want to get away from this kind of false dichotomy of what do you like, mechanics or role-playing, or role-play, RP. Like, I see that on Twitter a lot. And I feel like it's a really false dichotomy. One should be feeding into the other. This should be a symbiotic relationship. And if it's not, something's going on. The game should be supporting you in your RP or your combat or whatever it is you want to get done.
So that's where I'm at. Had a good weekend of gaming. It was fun to see bits of mechanics and bits of color and bits of imagination all ricochet off each other in a big pinball. Love it. Love this damn hobby. It's inspiration go time, folks. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Inspiration Goat. It is time. It is time for this. So I'm going to talk about a book. It's called Gideon the Ninth by Tamsyn Muir. And it is amazing. You know, I usually don't do just straight up reviews. Usually, whether I like a book, whether I don't like a book, I talk about it through the focus of gaming. And I don't know if I'm going to do that this time. This book is so much... I haven't had this much fun reading a book in ages. And I kept saying, I'm having so much fun reading this book. And then I handed the book to my wife, and we often agree on books, so this isn't unheard of. But she was reading it, and she kept saying, I can't believe how much fun this was. So it was weird that like we were saying we had the same reaction. It's not that we don't like the same things. We do. We had the exact same reaction to Gideon the Ninth by Tamsyn Muir. It is really incredible. It is coming out this month, and I just want you to read it so we can talk about how much fun it is. It is... I'm not positive how to describe it. Goth, queer, science, fantasy, swords and sorcery, necromancy. I don't know. I'm just gonna like blurt out words. There is a Warhammer 40k vibe to it, but I don't really like Warhammer 40k. So I feel like it's Warhammer 40k if someone rewrote it for me and my friends. If that makes sense. And if that doesn't make sense, that's okay too. It somehow like, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. It is fun. Check it out. Please check it out. I just really enjoyed it, and I want it to have all the success in the world, and I want more people to read it so I can talk to them about it. It's that kind of book. I want to have conversations about this damn book, and I got an advanced reader copy from my New York Public Library librarian days, which was a huge blessing, and thank you, Tor Books, for sending it to me. And I don't just want to pay it forward because I've gotten advanced reader copies and not liked it and never talked about it. So it's not that, oh, I got an advanced reader copy, I feel like I need to say this. I do not. And I hope my time on the show shows that. I don't feel like I need to say that. I think we should link it back to gaming, though. What can we take from Gideon the Ninth? I think it does really interesting things with creating a world and creating a series of noble houses and a hierarchy, and shows how the system is kind of broken, which I think is a really neat way of creating a world, okay? So here's an idea. Make a system, right? A king and a queen who, one who rules the sun, one who rules the moon. Okay. And then break it. Break it somehow. The king wants the moon too. The king demands the moon and won't shine light on the moon anymore if they don't get a certain amount of time to put their soldiers on the moon. And that's a vague version, but what I'm saying is take an idea about the world and break it purposefully, right? Basically all medieval books kind of do this in some way, right? Lord of the Rings has Aragorn is supposed to be king. He's not, so the steward has basically become the king, and he's corrupt. Bingo, bongo, bang. And people, people have, are dwelling more in their tombs than they are in their homes. You know, they're looking to the past too often. You take a thing and you break it. So that's an idea. I feel like Gideon the Ninth does a really kind of neat job of that, of making a world and showing how bits of the world are kind of broken and not working. And it's really fun. I hope you read it. And I hope you tell me about it. And if you don't tell me about that, tell me what else you're reading. What are you reading? What's going on? How's your media intake going? I hope it's going well. All right. Let's do the outro. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. There will be no show next week. I think there will be a midweek reply show. I believe. We've got enough material. So there should be a midweek reply show this Wednesday. But next Sunday, there will be no show. And it's all good stuff. There's good stuff happening. And I've got to be prepared for it. So I want to clear my plate a bit and get things ready. So just a heads up on that score. If you would like to support this show, you can do so by a couple of means. You can hit the support this show button and just give money directly, which I appreciate. A few people have done that, and it's been really wonderful, and I thank you all. You can purchase my book, The Dictionary of Mu. It is a swords and sorcery, science fantasy setting on kind of a biblical-ish Mars. If that sounds like it's up your alley, let me know. It's a setting supplement for the art role-playing game Sorcerer by Ron Edwards and Adept Press, and I hope you like it. It's been around for a while, and I'd love to hear your thoughts and hear your contributions to the dictionary. So let me know. And if none of those things work for you, you can always drop me an email. My email is judd.karlman@gmail.com. Or you can drop me a tweet. My Twitter will also be in the show notes. Or you can send me an anchor message, however you like. I appreciate it. And I'd love to make this more of a conversation and less of a pulpit, if that makes sense. I hope your gaming is going well, and I hope you've got some good apple cider ready for the autumn. I'm excited. I love this time of year. Love it, love it, love it. And the air is getting cooler. Day's getting a little shorter, which is a little sad, but that's all right. That's all right. It's all worth it for those wonderful northeast autumnal breezes. It's a good time of year. It's a good time of year. Let's get some witches and ghosts in our games, and let's do this. Heck, I had zombies in my sci-fi game tonight. That's how October it's getting up here. All right? Love to hear how things are going at your gaming table. Drop me a line. I'll talk to you soon. Inspiration Goat and I will be waiting.